we did it. We made it through January and we read a lot of books. I would like to point out that I am on track to read 200 books this year. Even though it is not my goal, I am on track. And I don't know how to feel about that. Before we start, new bullet journal this year. We're using the purple witchy one. It's super cute. I'll show you my little homepage that I made. I also have a Kiki's delivery service sticker and I got a 2024 sticker, so I put it in there as well. But for January, we did purple. Okay, I did pink and blue. And I read 18 books and they were all like, that's a lot. That's a lot, okay? I think I need to revamp the page tracker because it only goes up to 400 pages. Questionable. That's pretty much it because I didn't do any reviews and after the reviews is February, so we're just gonna go through the list and hope I remember what I thought, which I've been doing reviews on Goodreads, so if you want to follow me on Goodreads and see my reviews, I am actually putting some in there. They're not very long, they're not very descriptive, but they are my thoughts. And that's what matters, really. So, what was the first book I read in 2024? Well, it was Hell Followed With Us by Andrew Joseph White. If you have not seen this book before, look at how beautiful the cover is. Like, it's so freaking pretty. I cannot wait until there's like special editions of this book because first of all, I rated it 5 stars. I read this and I was like, am I gonna start 2024 with my favorite read of the year? Genuinely? Probably. I gotta remember people's names. So this is the most inclusive book I've probably ever read in my life, and that's saying a lot. I feel like more inclusive books are written for the LGBTQ community in the contemporary YA genre. This is a YA dystopian, and not a lot of dystopians are this inclusive. Like, this is the first one I have ever seen, and I love that about it. So in this one, we're following Benji, who is trans, and he has been transformed into what the religious cult he is a part of called a seraph. His mother like condoned this and made him transform, and also because they're super religious, they don't accept that he is trans at all. Like, at the beginning of the book, it's very liberating for him because he cuts off all of his hair and finally feels like he's gonna be himself. And he's on the run because now that he's become this seraph thing, everybody wants to use him to help destroy the world. The Christian cult he is a part of has actually spread a plague around and killed like 80 to 90% of the population of the world. Like, billions of people dead, like 7 billion people. So they're kind of just running the show however the fuck they want with these evil creatures that they've created and angels and just transforming humans into all of these terrible, terrible things. Benji is the tip of the iceberg because he can control these terrible, terrible things now that he is a seraph and they want him back. He comes across a group of kids from an LGBTQ community center, or what's the word I'm looking for? A center where they beforehand were given resources that they needed, and now they still live there during the apocalypse, basically, and they have decided to take him in, but they're also super wary of him for obvious reasons. And it is fantastic! Also, like, the love story in this, so good. Aw, it was so good. Immediately after that amazing book, I DNF'd a book. And it's not because it's bad. Okay, hear me out. I read Toil and Trouble, which is 15 Tales of Women in Witchcraft. I got a good chunk in. I got like 150 pages into this before I gave up. This just was not what I needed in that moment. I really want to read more short stories, but I have said in the past that I'm not fond of short stories. This is one of the collections I'm not very fond of. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, it's a-okay. So I didn't finish it, and I'm sorry. But a lot of other people will really love this. So I'm probably gonna give away my copy, put it in the book library or something. Maybe, I haven't decided. I left my bookmark in for a reason because I was like, maybe I'll continue. But it's been a while, and now I just don't think I'll continue. It's not bad. I just think somebody else would love this a lot more than I do. I wanted more from this and I got short stories. Nothing wrong with that. The next one I read was Chainsaw Man Volume 6 and I gave this one 5 stars. Like, really? I did? Oh my gosh, I did. I love Chainsaw Man. I have no thoughts head empty about what happened in this. I don't remember, but I loved it, so that's all that matters. I'm pretty sure I read it in like half an hour. I'm like that on point with these books now. So good. I love it. I literally don't have anything else to say. I can't think of anything else to say other than I loved it, so sorry. I then read The Lightning Thief, the graphic novel by Rick Riordan, and I gave this one 4 stars. I was kind of just looking at this one to see and compare while watching the show, and so I just marked it as read even though I wasn't done it because the show wasn't done yet, but I was just looking at the pictures. I wasn't really reading it, just to compare scenes from the show to the graphic novel and like how Rick envisioned them back then versus now kind of thing. And that's the only reason really why I read it. But it was free on Kindle Unlimited, so. The next 2 books I'm going to talk about together because I read them together because I did the tandem read and I gave them each 5 stars. Empire of Storms and Tower of Dawn. I did the tandem read. It is my first time reading them. I highly recommend the tandem read. I saw somebody being like, when you're doing the tandem read, it's bad because you're getting both boring bits at the same time, and I don't think that at all is what's happening. I actually found it more bearable. I don't know, because I'm like, oh, I don't enjoy what's happening over here. I can go over here and see what's happening on that side instead, because they both take place in different parts of the world at the same time, and I do think that Tower of Dawn was necessary, and I actually loved it a lot. It was one of my favorite books in the series. This made this like my favorite books in the series. Like Empire, these 2 and then Kingdom of Ash are my favorite books in the series. Like hands down. I think that the tandem read was definitely the way to go. 100%. That and Empire of Storms was all about pirates and sea battle and stuff, and I am here for that. That is what I'm obsessed with. The next book I read was Jujutsu Kaisen Volume 1, and what did I give this? 3 stars? Yeah, I gave this one 3 stars. This was overwhelming. It had a little too much information on the page, and I don't think I would have been able to know what was happening if I hadn't watched the first couple episodes of the anime. So I will not be continuing with this series, and I'm very upset about that because the anime is really good, but I just don't like the manga and what's happening, and much to the disappointment of my brother who has Jujutsu Kaisen tattoos, I cannot read the manga. I'm just gonna watch this show, and I never thought I would say that, but it was just so overwhelming. There was way too much happening on every page, way too many speech bubbles to read, and genuinely it was like sensory overload on a page. Never thought I could say that. The next book I read was Firekeeper's Daughter by Angeli Boulie, and this was awesome. I gave this 4 stars. I read this while I was making D&D maps, and it was super fun. Looking at this, you think maybe it's like magical realism, maybe it's fantasy, something like that. No, it's none of those things. It is actually a true crime, secret investigation type deal, undercover type stuff, and the main character, Donis, is asked to come and join the FBI's investigation of this like special brand of cocaine that's like making people go crazy. I think that's what it is. I don't remember which drug it is exactly. I wasn't paying attention to that bit, but she witnesses her best friend get murdered and then has to deal with the trauma as well as join this investigation, which she's like, I shouldn't even be doing this. I'm 18 and still in high school. And if this was like a whole show that spanned 18 seasons or whatever, I would watch all of it because it was just so fun and so cool and creative, and I think that we need more true crime by Angeline, sorry. More, please. Yes and thank you. Oh my god. My books are out of order. The next book I read was Witches Steeped in Gold by Sinan Smart. I have a lot to say about this. First, I gave it 2 stars. Second, more of my thoughts in a vlog to come. Third, I don't know where this all went wrong. I wanted to love this so much. Did I have any clue what was happening at any point? No. And look at how thick this is. I read a lot of thick books this month. This made no sense in my brain. I didn't understand it. Magic system didn't make any sense to me. It was kind of scattered, like you get magic from here, here, and here, but I didn't understand how it all connected and worked. And I frequently got the 2 main characters' POVs mixed up because we follow 2 of them, and one, the top lady here, as Jasmine, she is currently like the princess, but she's not technically the princess. She's like an advisor to the Empress, which is her mother, and she's next in line for the throne, and she kind of hates that her mother's in power and really wishes she could take her down because she's kind of a tyrant, and she got to be Empress via tyrant stuff and treason and murdered the previous royal family and took all of their magic and their power and has been hoarding it ever since. And so Jasmine decides she's going to join up with the rebellion and help them take her down. But in that process, she realizes, like, I'm gonna have to take over the throne. Like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be in power. And meanwhile, I don't remember her name for the life of me. Ira. I was gonna say Ada. Ira is getting out of prison. She's turning 18. She's getting her magic finally. And she was the previous princess. Her parents used to be in charge. And now that she's out of prison, she wants to take her throne back, even though she was like 8 when it was taken away from her. So, there's a lot going on. There's too much going on. And I don't know if I want to continue reading because this was just too much and not enough, I want to say, explanation. There was no answers for any of the questions that I have, and that's very unfortunate because I was very excited for this and I think it could have been great if it was given another 6 months of time developing. The next book I read is A Fire in the Flesh by Jennifer L. Armentrout, and I give this one 5 stars. This is the 3rd book in the Fire in the Flesh series. Flesh and Fire novel. It's backwards. I keep getting messed up. But this is the one that follows Sarah and Ash and all their adventures. And I'm gonna tell you right now, nothing happens in this one. This is a filler book, 110%. This was supposed to be the finale. This was not that. This is Sarah getting answers for her questions and being tortured the whole time. And I still love it because I love seeing like a sneak into the past of the lovely, what's it called? The From Blood and Ash series. I love seeing back then and then coming back up to now. But oh my god, nothing happened. This was like the 2nd book in the From Blood and Ash series. Fuck all happened. So, there's that. I was expecting a finale and I got answers. I don't know. But it was still great. I still love it. The next book is actually a reread for me, and it is Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas, and I reread it because I heard there was a lot of similarities between this one and the second Crescent City book, A House of Sky and Breath, and I wanted to see. And this was really good, rereading this before the 3rd Crescent City book came out because a lot of stuff is connected. They're just intertwined. So this was very, very, very important and helped me a lot. And it's still 5 stars for me, so that's why I rated it. And then, of course, another 5-star. I read Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas as well, and I cried. And I'm not going to say a whole lot because I feel like I talk about Sarah J. Maas too much in this vlog or this video. Just know that I loved it and I cried, and you all know when. I didn't cry at the end. I cried at that moment, and that's all we're going to talk about because we're too in deep to this. I can't explain to you what's happening. I can't even begin to talk about what's happening in here. It's too much. 8 books in, man. Actually, 8 plus the of all the other ones. So the next book I read was also a 2-star, and it is The Heir by Sophie Lark. I thought this was going to be a fun mafia type romance deal, but it is actually about these kids that go to this island to go to the Kingmaker's school, and they are all separated into these sections for what they're going to be learning, and the main characters, Anna and Leo and Dean. Those are the POVs that we get. They're all separated into the boss category, if you will, and Leo and Dean have history because their families have tried to destroy each other and they have had lots of betrayals. They're like distant cousins, but Anna and Leo are also kind of distant cousins by marriage, and Anna and Leo have decided that they both love each other. Not to mention, Dean has decided he's going to steal Anna because he hates Leo and he thinks that she is just the most beautiful thing ever. And in that, he drugs Leo. He gets somebody else to drug Leo with a rape drug, and then stalks Anna until she goes on a date with him, and it was just very uncomfy. He was terrible. Anna and Leo, very cute. Dean, garbage human being. If he didn't exist, the exact same stuff would have happened in the book, pretty much. Like, Anna and Leo would still be together by the end. They still would have moved their friendship into romance. Like, all he did was get in their way a couple of times. He didn't need to exist. So, I don't know. It was very weird. I did not like it. After that, I read another boring book, but that was 5 stars, and it was Fire in the Flesh. I'm sorry, A Flesh in the Kingdom of... There's too many fires and fleshes. What are we doing? A kingdom of flesh and fire. A fire in the flesh. Get new words. Anyways, I reread it and I verified that nothing happened in this book. There was just answers. The next book I read was 3 stars, and that is The Haunted. I do not recall who this is by. 1 second. The Haunted by Jessica Verade, and this is the sequel to The Hollow. And in reality, this book is just a girl making perfumes, living her life, going to work in an ice cream shop, and dating a ghost. But now we've added these people who are trying to kill her because her soulmate is a ghost, and they're trying to kill her so that she will be with her soulmate, because they can't have a living person and a dead person date. So we're kind of dealing with that conflict now, but it's so plain and normal. I'm obsessed. Like, I'm obsessed with how plain and normal it is. And I never thought I would say that. It is a paranormal, but it's more normal than para. Like, it's so chill. It's so good because it's so chill. The next book I read was Nothing But Blackened Teeth by Cassandra Khaw. This is a short story, and I gave it 1 star. It was supposed to be a horror story, and it has a creepy cover, and I thought it'd be crazy. Could I tell you what happened in here? Probably not. It was a haunted house. People may have died. I don't remember any characters' names. I was bored the whole time, and I genuinely could not tell you what happened. It was supposed to be like a Japanese horror, but I don't know. I don't know what happened. Can't tell you, sorry. The next book I read was The Hidden Oracle by Rick Riordan, and it's book 1 in the Trials of Apollo. I finally am doing it. I'm finally reading this series. I didn't think I'd like this series. I had a lot of fun time. I had a good time. I gave this one 4 stars. And then this one is the one where Apollo gets transformed into a mortal, and he is kind of weirded out because he is supposed to have at least some of his powers and abilities that are godlike, but he has nothing. He's basically less than a demigod right now. And he teams up with this girl whose name I do not remember, Meg, who is a new demigod. And honestly, Meg is my favorite part of this whole thing. She is a daughter of Demeter, and she works with like the scythes, I think they're scythes, the curved blades. Oh my god, she's amazing. She's incredible. Although she is kind of chaotic and has other things in mind, and there's a lot going on that they don't really know about yet. I love it. It was so fun, and I just love to like dive into Rick Riordan's books every once in a while, so I appreciate this, and I cannot wait to continue. And the 18th and final book I read in January, yes, in January I finished this, is House of Flame and Shadow. So overall, I read 5 Sarah J Maas books in the month of January, and I have no regrets. This was obviously 5 stars. I read it in 2 days. I highlighted so many things that I loved. There are so many plot holes and so many things wrong with this, and I don't care because I love it. 10 out of 10. I took the day off work and went and got this book the day it came out, and I have no regrets. This is not everything I wanted, but I did love and appreciated it, and it was totally worth it. There's that. I am upset though that the cover is like fully black because the other one is like white with like the color. I wish they would have done that with this one. I wish it would match, but it doesn't, and I'm really sad about that. But this is my baby now. I will be rereading it soon in the future because I just need to. 10 out of 10, amazing. But those are the books that I read in January. Do I have a favorite? I think that the tandem read was my favorite. This was the most fun I had this month, and that's saying a lot. Throne of Glass is like the superior series. I'm sorry, but it is. Anywho, let me know what your favorite book was in January. I would love to hear about it. Please tell me what you think of my reading adventure this month, and I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye!